Tyler?
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
You're listening to the Sports Scramble podcast, where four friends serve up a weekly plate of sports with a side of SEC bias. Now, here are your hosts, Chet, Jacob, Wade, and Tyler.
Let's go!
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of the Sports Scramble podcast, brought to you by Belly Up Sports. I'm your host, Chet, and we got Tyler, Wade, and Jacob with us doing a little early Sunday night show so we can catch our boy Joey B take on the Ravens. How are y'all doing tonight?
Doing good.
Yeah, pretty good. Hopefully Joe and Jamar can go off. Tyler, show him the shirt. I know we're on audio only for most of y'all, but Tyler is rocking the Joe and
Look at
Jamar
there.
shirt.
Yeah, I'm a Saints fan whenever they're in, but whenever they're knocked out, I'm a Bengals fan.
I'm
For
not going to
sure.
lie. I've pretty much converted to Bengalism this year because the NFL is
Bengalism.
entertainment, and the Bengals are entertaining. The Saints just really aren't. So, got to respect the LSU guys.
Yeah, that's why I'm rocking the LSU shirt, rooting for him tonight. I need to get me like a bank. Don't you have a Chad Ochocinco Bengals jersey?
I do, but because Joe led me to a fantasy championship, I bought a Joe Burrow jersey. Actually, I bought it
Nice.
before I won the championship. So,
Very
yeah.
confident then.
Well,
You-
I just bought it because it was on sale at Dick's and I had a gift card.
Wow, he's using Dick's and he's not using our Fanatics link. Come on, man.
Get me a Dick's promo, man.
Yeah, we can get you a Dick's promo. We'll see about that. We got Jacob back there with all the jerseys. We need to get him on Fanatics, get him some more.
I will
Yeah,
use the Fanatics link very soon. But
There we go.
Yeah, I need to add to my collection back here, slowly. So
Maybe we can get your locker room attendant buddy in the Seahawks organization to give you a Seahawks jersey.
dude, once the Baton Rouge jerseys leak, I need early access to that. I need to know what the team name's going to be and what the jerseys are going to look like.
yeah, they voted for the team name. I don't know what the choices were. I could never find the choices for them. But I'll look at them.
Like on like the
I think they were called the
Baton
Kingfish
Rouge.
whenever
They
they
were the
actually
Kingfish,
had
but they
a
can't
hockey
go with
team.
that because it's still owned by the previous league.
The
I think
Kingfish,
just name
that
them
was
like
their-
the Crawdads or something like that.
I think they should go with the Baton Rouge Red Sticks because that's what Baton Rouge. was.
or I would just name them the Chicken Fingers because
Ah,
they're
there
playing
you go.
Raising Cane's
Oh,
River
it's chicken
Center.
fingers.
Yeah, the chickens. Call them the
The
Baton
Baton
Rouge
Rouge-
chickens. Yeah.
Baton
Or-
Rouge Boozies.
There you go. Get a little boozy at the games. We can have
Well,
him perform the
Just
national
put him in the
anthem before every
mascot.
game.
Then
Once that is public information, we must discuss.
We need to find out who owns the rights to it. That way we can get him to leak it on the show. Get us some clout on there. Probably reach out to like Jordy.
They have
Collins
their
or
own
something. He's probably
podcast
got-
for the franchise.
Really?
Yes.
Hmm.
So maybe we can get through Jacob to that. It's the Baton Rouge Professional Hockey Podcast. So like right now, since the team doesn't exist, they hired like a marketing campaign
Mhm.
to generate interest, get people in the seats. All that worked. And as a part of that, they had two of the guys do a podcast each week to just try to generate
people
interest.
interested,
And
yeah.
they worked with the ESPN crew here in Baton Rouge on the radio and got it out there. It was pretty successful. They had, I think, 16,000 people between the three games and working on getting the team now.
Yeah, for our
So-
listeners that don't know, we got Jacob, the inside man over here at the Mississippi Seawolves. We're rocking it. Pretty soon he's going to own the team.
I don't know about that. But you brought up a good point, Wade. But yeah, so the guy who owns the team that I work for is also the owner of the Baton Rouge team. So he owns like four of the teams in the league. Just kind of weird, just because he has a very large company that invested in the organizations and stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure what the name's gonna be. I just looked and I couldn't find, but they did some poll or whatever, and I don't know what got what. But Yeah, because it's been two separate teams. Kind of Louisiana had the Ice Gators for a little while, which was an SPHL team. And then they had, of course, the Kingfishers for a while too.
Let's see, BatonRougeProHockey.com. See what they
Yeah,
got on
those are
here.
the guys that put together the podcast. I think they're doing a fan vote. They're taking
Yeah.
suggestions.
So it's the FPHL. That's what you're talking about?
Federal Prospects League.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. They got a bunch of Port Huron, if I said that right, Motor City, Carolina, Columbus, Mississippi, Delaware, Watertown. There's a lot of teams in this league.
Jacob, I have
Yeah.
to say, I looked at the standings the other day at work. There's a lot of disparity between the top of the bunch and the bottom. Mississippi
Yeah.
and
5 and
everyone else had, like,
21.
3 wins.
Jeez. Come
Yeah,
on, Jacob.
Columbus is like 27 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is like there's major disparity because the teams at the top are like well-established teams that have been there since the start of the league. Of course, your newer teams are towards the bottom, like Elmira, Delaware, us here in Mississippi with the Seawolves. These teams are newer, younger guys trying to like mesh together. A lot of these guys in Watertown, Columbus, Carolina, and Port Huron have all been together for a long time. So they've grown into the role and stuff. So yeah, I mean that's why. But you said like the Seawolves only 5 wins on the year. They've won back-to-back games the last 2 nights. At home, so 2 in a row after snapping a 15-game losing streak. So
There you go.
yeah, so I
Good
mean
luck
2 in
to
a
'em.
row, so it's getting back together. So we got 2 new guys that came in, a 20-year-old and a 22-year-old.
Are they
but yeah, I
straight
mean-
from Russia?
No.
Stop.
They're
What are y'all doing? You got to get
they're
them
both from the
overseas, man.
States. We
Let's
only
talk
have
about the
one-
biggest goon in the league, number 13, Mr. Pace.
Yeah, so yeah,
That guy, he's like 38.
yeah. So Mr. Pace is technically my boss. But
He's the dude
yeah,
that owns the teams?
no.
He's
no.
like
Oh,
the
sorry.
acting coach, from what I've heard.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so he's basically the president and CEO for the team, and the head
And
coach.
he's
And he also
playing
plays.
on.
Yes,
Jeez.
yeah.
And he'll pick on like the 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds. They'll like get in little scuffles, and he'll just like body check them behind the ref's back. It's very funny. He's like playing
Yeah.
all the unwritten rules, getting the guys ready for competition.
It's
Dang.
good. So like we have like designated like guys that really like want to drop the gloves every night.
Yeah,
So, like, the last
it's
two-
like WWE out there.
Yeah,
It's all,
the last
it's all
2 nights have
scripted.
been like well coordinated. Like I was on the bench for warm-ups last night, and we have one guy in particular who likes to stir the pot a little bit. He's not a like great skillful player, but he's like he's I don't want to say he's a goon, but it's like the closest thing to a goon without being one. I don't know, he might appreciate me calling him a goon, but it's one of those like just pace back and forth at the red line, just like skate back and forth, like picking somebody out type thing, and they like chirping each other, before the game too. So it's very physical and competitive, like at this level, because it's a lot of like young guys trying to prove themselves. So it was really good. Like last night, I think we had 3 fights last night and 2 the night before. But yeah, they've been pretty crazy.
Man, we've turned into a hockey podcast now that college football's over. Maybe we'll have better luck picking them than we will have picking the national championship. So, well, it's good to see, Jacob, that you're staying busy over there at the arena. I think the only arena I'm visiting in Temple, Texas is the rodeo arena. We'll see when that kicks off.
Heck yeah.
Don't have much
Yeah,
ice
it's a new
hockey
sport.
out
Yeah,
here.
give us some rodeo content.
Calf
Calf
what is it
wrangling.
wrangling. I was about to say rappling. That's not right.
Dude, this
Cracker
arena that
tipping.
we have on the other side of town is insane. It's like the size of the Coliseum, basically. It's just for rodeo. I mean, they got like big boards, probably seats like 30,000 people in there. It's huge. So I'm gonna have to mosey on over down to the.
30,000, is that a bit of an
Oh.
exaggeration?
I don't know. I didn't.
Maybe like 3,000.
Let me
Like the
look it up.
Coliseum sits
Because
like
I
8
went
and
to
a
the
half.
one in Fort Worth, and
Yeah.
it was like 8,000.
Last I haven't been to the
the one in
Coliseum in a while, but I don't
Houston-
think they've added 20,000 seats by the time I last went.
No.
The one in Houston is where an NRG, and it's the biggest rodeo in the country. So it'll probably
That's
be a
Monster
letdown.
Jam on steroids, though. Like you can't,
Speaking of Monster Jam, it was last night. And I missed it. What?
Oh,
Here in
my.
town.
You missed
I can't-
Monster Jam in
I
Temple?
can't believe I missed it, man. Well, it's actually in Belton, but
Go see, Gravedigger.
yeah, I know Belton.
Maximum Destruction.
Trying to see capacity.
Dude, I used to watch that all the time.
7,000, so not 30,000. A little bit of an
Yeah,
exaggeration there.
Chet, everything Chet says, either divide or multiply it by 4. Dude, it's huge.
It's like, wow, this is 120,000 people in the stands. There's only like 60.
Dude, I shot a 75 on the course.
Yeah.
105.
But let me
At the whack.
share my screen here, and y'all can see what I'm talking about on the pictures.
But this is a
Let's see.
podcast.
I know. Well, the people on
It's
YouTube
visual.
can see it.
People
Look at
love
this.
the
Is like
visuals.
Epcot. Look
Okay.
at this thing.
It
Can I
is.
get like a full screen.
If you
picture
can
here?
name that dome at Epcot too, you get bonus
Okay.
points.
I guess I don't get a full screen picture on Wikipedia, but I mean, look at this. I'll zoom in for y'all. Well, that didn't work either. Okay. We'll just get back to the regularly scheduled programming here on
Kind
the
of looks like
Sports
the Kibby
Scramble.
Dome.
It
It's
is
big. It's big. I mean, speaking of domes, we've got the Vikings and Giants playing right now.
How is
Well,
it
it's
ending up?
basically over. So
It's 31-24, a minute left. Giants are winning, and the Giants got the ball back.
folks,
so yeah,
it's over. They're
That's pretty
walking
much
on
it.
the
Dang,
field.
Tyler. Give Tyler his minute in the spotlight because he picked the Giants.
he did.
I don't really need a
He was
minute in the
right.
spotlight. I already did that on the last show.
And
So-
Mr. Jefferson disappointed.
Yeah, he's really been shut down the past few games. So I mean, we'll see. I was hoping for a bigger performance from Jay Jettis, but
Game
You're
over.
still confident in taking him for next year's #1 overall pick.
Uh-oh.
heck yeah, definitely. Well,
Well, you
Wade
don't
will
get the
have
number
him.
1 pick,
That's
sir.
Yeah, I'm talking. No, I was talking to Wade because he was the toilet bowl champ.
It depends on how Jamar's playoff run goes.
I mean, I feel like Jefferson probably gets more targets.
He
considering
does. He's a better
guy.
fantasy player.
Yeah.
I would say I think Jamar's an overall better receiver, but with T. Higgins being there, sometimes it's a toss-up on who gets the ball more.
Well, you can get you a shirt like Tyler and a jersey like Wade if you head on over to Fanatics and toss your ball into the interwebs and get your, you got the Giants just won. They're advancing. We got Buffalo won. Jacksonville had a heck of a comeback, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah, you can get a Trevor Lawrence jersey.
Seattle, get you a Brock Purdy jersey. He's the man. You head on over to Fanatics, use our link. Tyler, what's the code for us tonight?
Oh gosh, you called me.
Come on, man. I put you on the
I
spot.
wasn't
You
paying
gotta be.
attention. We were talking about so many things in the first couple of minutes that you caught me
Yeah.
off guard. But I've got you right here. It's 24 ship.
Oh,
It's-
back to the
That's
free
pretty
shipping.
standard. I like it when
Hey,
they
it's a
throw
standard shipping. It's the Sunday one is always 24 ship, but you got to catch it on Mondays when they
They
get
should have
back
done
to the
like
clearance sale.
Chargers choked 27.
Joke.
Yeah.
Man, well, head on over to Fanatics, use our link, use code 24SHIP, get free shipping when you spend $24, and get you some NFL merch. So I just mentioned all the teams that won. Let's talk about it. 49ers, Seahawks was a little close in the first half, and they ended up cruising to victory. They really just kind of came alive in the second half. Tyler, what you see on the field for the 49ers? Are they your Super Bowl pick?
Well, you actually do have them going to the Super Bowl against Buffalo. So in the first half of both games, I was kind of like, uh-oh, am I going to go 0-2 in the first weekend? But I ended up not. We did see, Geno Smith. He had a good first half. We saw Kenneth Walker, a man that I loved in fantasy football. He's going to be a stud in the next couple of years. But Brock Purdy's the man. 4 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey also had really a good game as well. That Deebo Samuel 74-yard touchdown pretty much sealed the deal, and San Fran's defense was able to get the job done. Really shut down Seattle. I don't even think Seattle even scored in the second half. So San Francisco advances. Their opponent is still yet to be determined because obviously there's games to play.
So their opponent will be winner of the Dallas and Tampa Bay game, right?
I
Uh,
believe
So
so. Well,
the
yeah,
no,
because
they're the 2 seed.
the Giants now winning, they'll go to Philadelphia no matter what
That's right.
happens in that game because
Yeah.
they're the higher seed. They're number 6, so
that's what I was
they'll go to
thinking.
that, and then the winner of Tampa Bay and Dallas will face off against San Fran.
Do y'all like how they reseed the playoffs?
No.
I do.
I
I think
don't.
I think it makes
This sequel.
sense to if you've got the number 1 seed should play the lower seed. That's just how like a bracket works. But
But
I
then the
already
lower
think though
seed
the
did
number
the work.
one,
They took
yeah, the
them
number
out.
one already does have like home field advantage to begin with, so they don't necessarily have to play the worst team. And I mean, the Giants are probably better than the 4 and the 5 seed. You could argue.
But if I'm the Giants and I just did the job of knocking off the 2 seed or whatever, the 3 seed,
Yeah,
my reward should be that I don't have to go play the next best team, you know?
yeah,
Like,
that's true. I guess they're just more relying on the number 1 seed, giving them as much advantage as possible. I guess.
yeah, it really
yeah,
makes
I
the
don't know.
1
I just
seed
think
that more
the 1
important.
week bye is good enough. Home field advantage.
Yeah, you take away the 2 buys, and I mean the 1 seed is like the prize possession at this point. So
Because how fun is it in March Madness to see like a 16 seed, get to play an 8 seed if they won round 1 theoretically? Imagine if it was like, okay, congrats, you just did the impossible. Now you have to play the 2 seed.
yeah,
You know?
that reseeds you got St. Mary's or St. George's, whichever the team is playing like Alabama or something after they upset somebody. So, Fletch, why don't you like it?
I don't like it because teams have a record during the season for a reason. It makes it seem like records don't matter at that point if you're just going to end up reseeding. Um, I mean, there's a reason why teams like Tampa are 8 and 9. I mean, because they played terrible most of the year, but they ended up making the playoffs because the rest of the teams played terrible in their division. Um, for teams like that, they shouldn't be reseeded. Um, for Dallas being second, in the conference, they don't need to be reseeded either. It devalues the records that these guys played for 17 games this season. You add a regular season game again because we wanted to get rid of a preseason game, and they still wanted to keep the same amount of games, so they added an extra game on to the regular season. And then now you get to the second week after wild card and for divisional, and you're going to reseed it. It doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Wait, so hold on, explain the reseeding. Are they taking everybody under like for the NFC? They're taking everybody under the Eagles, and whoever has the worst record is now playing the Eagles.
It's
Yeah.
like the highest seed. So if you're like 6 and 7, if like whoever wanted that, because so in this case, the Giants, since they're 6, it doesn't matter what happens between Dallas and Tampa Bay, since Dallas is the 5 and the Cowboys are the 4. That means the Giants are the overall the highest seed, and they get to face Philly in the next round.
Had it played out according to schedule, they would have most likely played against Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay is the 4 seed. But now Tampa Bay is going to be the highest remaining seed other than the Eagles.
Correct.
And that doesn't make any sense to me that Tampa Bay would be the highest remaining seed, regarding their record.
Yeah, I like
This
letting
season.
the division winners in, like the playoffs, but I agree. Like maybe Tampa Bay should have been the 7 seed,
Right.
Because then you've
Yeah.
got teams playing at home that shouldn't be playing at home because of their record and
Yeah.
where they were initially.
Let the division winning mean something, make the playoffs, but maybe seed based off record,
Right. And I think
because
that was
that's
really
how
how it's
the
always
draft
how it
is.
should be. Yeah.
Huh. I'm still like lost. Hold on. I'm pulling up a playoff bracket here because
Basically, it's always going to be the highest seed versus the lowest remaining seed, and then the other games just fall in place.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Well, the other team that came.
Like all you're doing is incentivizing the team that basically got the bye in the wild card. Not only do they get the bye, they also get to play the lowest seeded team,
That just
in the
played a
second
whole
round.
football game the week prior,
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, you need to be playing either, the 3 seed or whoever it may be, when it gets to that point, regardless, who wins, it depends on that.
I just put it this
But-
way. I like seeing on paper a bracket, and as soon as the game's over, you just fill in the next line and
who's
not
playing
having
who.
to take other things into account and
Right.
whatnot,
Yep.
NFL always likes to find a way to make it confusing. So, other game, Jaguars and the Chargers. Jaguars down 27-0 at half. They end up. I mean, it's like a Matt Ryan and the Falcons choke from the Chargers, coming all the way back to keep T-Law's winning streak on Saturdays alive. Never lost a Saturday game for Trevor Lawrence here. ESPN was all over that. They were like, "Oh my gosh, he's never lost a Saturday." Blah blah.
I loved
blah.
how like Matt Moscano or someone retweeted it and said, "Yeah, but I do remember him getting his butt kicked on a Monday night about exactly 3 years ago."
Yeah, I thought that one was funny. He might not win all the time, or he might win all the games on Saturday, but he loses on Sundays and Mondays for the most part. So Wade, what's your favorite player from Clemson show you?
I have given some grace towards Trevor this year. I've come around on him. I like how he's quietly been putting in the work, and he's had a good season, so I'll give him that. But he looked very, very lost in the first half. I actually tuned into the game after he had already thrown 4 interceptions, and I was on
that was
Twitter
bad.
trying
4
to find the
interceptions in the
videos.
first half.
Yeah,
Like,
in
come on.
in the first 30 minutes of the game, or 20 minutes of the game, and I kept trying to find videos of the interceptions, and it took me a while to find all 4 because people kept tweeting about the first one and then the second one, and then I think by the 4th one I don't even know if anybody videoed it. But yeah, he really turned it up the second half. Didn't watch a ton of the game, but kudos to him for just leaving it in the first half and coming out firing in the second half. But what a choke job for the Chargers. I mean, you got Austin Eckler and Justin Herbert, and you can't figure out a way to move the chains enough to keep the ball out of Trevor Lawrence's hands. I mean, just
the defense just totally fell apart, and the offense just was non-existent in the second half. I mean, they outscored them 31-3.
You really just needed one touchdown in the second half if you're the Chargers, and or hell, just 1 or 2 really long drives,
Right, just burn
you're only
the
going to
clock.
get 5 or 6 drives a half. So to let the Jaguars score on 4 of them, I mean, that's not good football.
I take that back. They outscored them 24-3. They were down 27-7.
Yeah, they scored right before the half, to make it 27-7.
I mean, do you think this kind of diminishes? I mean, everybody was high on Justin Herbert at the beginning of the year, saying he's MVP caliber. He's better than Joe Burrow. Out of the two of them out of the draft class, they were saying Justin Herbert was
Oh
the
my God, I'm
quarterback.
so tired of that narrative.
Joe Burrow is I mean, he's not the best quarterback in the NFL right now, but he's definitely top 4.
I mean, I like Herbert, and I think that all signs did point to him being good this year, and Joe, because you look at Mahomes, he lost Tyreek Hill. He's got an aging Travis Kelce as his best target. You would think the narrative there would be that he'd be good because he's very talented, but he would kind of take a step back, and we were wrong on that. He really made himself number 1, and he took over that division over Justin Herbert. We kind of thought he would make that leap. Honestly, Burrow to me has been the second most consistent quarterback, but only because Josh Allen sometimes is just a little erratic with the football. I mean, I think talent-wise, Josh Allen probably rivals Mahomes, but I think you got to consider Herbert to be the distant 4th at the moment, just off of team production and on-field production. I mean, he throws for a lot of yards, but a lot of that is just screens to Austin Eckler. And I know that he was missing Mike Williams and Keenan Allen for a lot of the season, but I just feel like until his team makes that leap and he makes that personal leap within that division, I mean, I think he's just got to be 4th.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
well, go
I
ahead.
had my biggest thing with this game, and Justin Herbert. I don't think it's on Justin Herbert in this game, to be honest with you. I think it was kind of out of his hands at that point in the second half. I have more distrust in uh, their head coach. I have a problem with Staley. Performances like that. I mean, he should lose his job for something like that. I mean,
Very well
that's one
might.
of those things
Yeah, a
where
lot of rumors. Sean Payton to the
yeah,
Chargers now.
That's a
That's
good
what
fit.
everybody's calling for.
a double-digit winning team and you choke against
And
the
it's not even
Jags
like
have
they
been
had a
hot.
7-point lead. They had a
Right.
27-point lead at one point. They
Yeah,
just
I mean
blew
that's
it.
my problem. There just seemed to be a lack of just any motivation in the second half. I mean, they came out, they were up by 20, they opened the third, but more credit goes to the the Jags coaching staff and what Doug Peterson has really done for that team. That fantastic job, I think, by them at halftime, keeping the guys, basically in the game. And it's basically not over yet. I mean, your
Right.
captains on your team. I mean, they literally could have hung their hat there and said, "Well, this is it. We're down 27-0. We just scored, but it's a pity touchdown because they're getting the ball back and we're screwed." It's one of those. But Jags defense stepped up. I was really surprised. Their last game to finish it out, they played really well at home, and their defense was a big part of that. They were a huge part of the second half in this one. It just looked like a completely different team in the second half. And I mean, the other Josh Allen, linebacker Josh Allen for the Jags, I think definitely, he's their engine on defense by far, and everything runs through that. So they played fantastic. Whoever's up next on their agenda, better watch out because especially after a second half like that, the Jags can finally put up points, guys.
Yeah.
It can happen.
Well, it sucks the Saints let Doug Peterson walk right out of the building. They interviewed him and decided to stick with Dennis Allen. So we see who didn't make the $1 million signing there. Other game we had today was Buffalo Miami. Everybody expected this to be a blowout. It was not. We'll let the what are they? The AFC
East.
We'll let the
East.
AFC East participant Jacob talk on this one. Did you watch the game today or were you at work?
No, I was at work, but I watched the game. Shh, don't tell them. But
That's not good.
OSHA
First week on the
violation.
job, and he's out here
watching the game.
football.
So was everybody
OSHA
else.
violation.
Yeah. No, I wasn't, driving that forklift and watching the game, Not like driving the forklift and doing the draft,
Right.
Or the Zamboni.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's driving the Zamboni now, Wade. He's no longer at the Home
Dude,
Depot.
let's go.
That's
Forklift
nice.
and Zamboni certified.
That's
I
a full
think
package right there.
Yeah, that is, man. That's a deadly package. Biggest thing in this game, the Dolphins, the only way for the Dolphins to win this game was they had to win the turnover battle. I think
Which they did.
which they did. I think Skylar Thompson definitely held his own. Good performance by him, all things considered. You're playing in Buffalo, one of the hardest places to play in the league by far. I think everybody can agree here, but I think secondary
he
for
threw
Buffalo.
45 times.
Yeah.
45
He
passes
played well,
completed.
but damn, that completion percentage is brutal.
18 for
Yeah, that is bad.
45.
Yeah,
Wow.
that is bad. Yeah, that was rough. Well, a lot of credit goes to Buffalo secondary. I mean, there were a lot of pass breakups. I mean, it wasn't like he was throwing erratic all over the place.
No,
I mean,
he had to swing it. He did.
Yeah.
He did well.
And he was hitting his targets. Guys just couldn't hold on to the ball. It's cold. I mean,
Yeah, Waddle dropped
you
like
get
4
it.
passes.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I know. He couldn't hold on to the football. I mean, Tyreek Hill was basically their guy outside of their one running back who basically was a check down for Skylar Thompson and his bailout. I mean, that was really what happened. I mean, Gesicki got a touchdown in the end zone that tied it
Hit
up
his
right before half.
patented gritty.
Yeah.
That
So
thing is terrible, man.
yeah, I
I call it the gritty because I'm gritting my teeth watching it.
But no, I think second half I didn't get to watch too much of it. Miami moved the ball. I was surprised at how well they were able to move the ball against Buffalo. If Buffalo continues to play like that, even though they put up 34, they're going to get beat. That's my biggest thing. I mean, they're playing at home, and that's happening against a team like the Dolphins, who basically got a gift into the playoffs.
Right. And you got your third string quarterback in.
And your third string quarterback almost led you to a win on the road at Buffalo. So that's the biggest thing is the lack of play by the Buffalo Bills. I just think that, if they have to play Cincinnati or Kansas City here in the near future, it's all but over. I mean, that's my problem. If they don't fix it this week.
So if Cincinnati wins, they'll play Buffalo next week, won't they?
Yes, and it's
Yeah,
in
because
Buffalo.
Jacksonville's already locked in, I believe,
Yeah.
unless the Ravens.
Well, if the Ravens win.
yeah.
My
if
biggest
the
thing
Ravens-
is if Cincinnati and Buffalo play, I think that should be a neutral site game.
Yeah, I
that's-
agree with you there, but
I said that on the Corner Booth podcast that me and you went on. Go check them out, members of the Belly Up Network. The Kansas City Buffalo neutral site, I guess, makes sense from a record standpoint, but from a team standpoint, it should be Buffalo and Cincinnati neutral site.
yeah, if you really think about it, Cincinnati got screwed out of all the teams.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
could
it
screw out
should
of a
be for
home.
both of them. From this next
Right.
round on, it should be neutral site if any of those teams are involved.
I agree with that. I'm
Because-
surprised they didn't fight for that more.
I mean, Joe Burrow didn't seem too concerned about it in the interview yesterday. If you watch it with
He's
NBC,
Joe
but
Shiesty, man.
Joe's going to play
newcomer.
anywhere, anytime.
But I don't think it matters about the home field advantage of like,
Yeah.
oh, the Bengals don't get to play the game at home for like crowd noise and stuff. But Buffalo is one of the best home field advantages in the league because of the weather. And
Right.
I know that Cincinnati gets cold as well too, but it doesn't have that lake effect. And if they got to go play that game in snowy conditions or something,
With the weather's
that
looking
really fits well with what Josh Allen likes to do. And I mean, kind of inflates his, I don't know, abilities, I guess, to a sense, because he's going to go out there and run through the snow and lead him to a victory. But if, today with good weather, you saw that he is kind of beatable and
well,
Yeah.
sloppy.
I mean,
to that
think-
point,
let's back up a little bit. Like, I think the game with Buffalo and Cincinnati, of course, with the Hamlin injury, but let's say that game does happen. Let's say Cincinnati wins that football game. There's really is a lot of difference in how this would be played. I mean, potentially, Buffalo's still playing at home if they had to play Miami, but they probably wouldn't be playing Miami. It'd probably be Cincinnati and Miami.
yeah, Buffalo and Baltimore.
But yeah, I mean, the difference is Buffalo's playing at home for another week in a row, not traveling at all. I mean, they get to come back and play Cincinnati again in the same stadium they played before earlier in the season. They still have home field.
No, they get the
advantage
home
in that
game.
sense.
Even worse.
Yeah, in that sense. Yeah, it's a little bit one-sided.
So I'm looking at the weather forecast for next weekend in Buffalo. It's just cloudy and mostly cloudy, 33 degrees. Nothing too shabby. The weekend
Good
after
range.
though is snow is what they're projecting. So, but I guess that
At that
won't
point, it
matter.
would be in
That's if
Mahomes'
Buffalo makes
hand.
it out alive.
Right, exactly. So
At that point,
Hey,
it would be in
I-
Atlanta.
if
Oh,
Buffalo
true.
and Kansas City win, yeah. But if Cincinnati wins and Kansas City wins, it's still an Arrowhead, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
We
only.
should just move
time in
everybody to
Atlanta.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Finish it out in sunny Jacksonville.
I'm curious to see. So Dallas and Tampa Bay play on Monday. I'm assuming that winner of that will play on next Sunday. It's a shorter week for them.
Yeah, they get an extra day to prep for this game and then one less
They
game.
kind of get hosed. I mean, it's just a day, but
That's just ESPN money
Both teams
talking.
will have a long trip too.
Wait
Yeah.
till next year. We'll have a Thursday night playoff game.
really, yeah. You'll have one team with some super short schedule or short week. So speaking of Dolphins, Tua is expected to remain the QB in 2023. How do y'all feel about that?
Ability wise, for sure. But I mean, the guys had a tough streak with
Plethora of
injuries.
concussions. So
Yeah, what, 3 this year?
3 that we know of.
4 overall. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
He was
I mean,
banged up
dating
in
back to
college.
college
maybe.
days too.
For
Yeah.
a guy that, is, if you listen to him talk and all, I mean, he's very intelligent, well-spoken, like he doesn't seem just like a football meathead. So, I mean, he's got to be considering life after football, and certainly could take on an announcing job or a coaching job or something in that regard within the sport.
He's still on his rookie contract, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not made a lot of money.
Yeah,
Yep.
so-
Relatively.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of money to us for sure, but not in football world. I mean, I don't know. We talked earlier about where Lamar could go or Aaron Rodgers or something. I'm surprised to see that they'll just flat out say, yeah, Tua is the guy next year. Like they're not going to test their hands in free agency. I mean, Tyler,
I think they wait. Yeah, I think
Yeah, I think they either wait. I don't know how high of a draft pick that they got since they made the playoffs. It'll probably be in the 20s. So all the good quarterbacks will already be taken by then, unless they want to, take a flyer, Hendon Hooker or Stetson Bennett that early. But I think they wait around, maybe take a quarterback either in the second or third round, whether that's Hendon Hooker, maybe it's a Max Duggan. But I just don't think you can't run with the backups. I mean, Skylar Thompson, he had an okay game today. It's not the greatest game ever. Teddy Bridgewater's been dealing with some injuries too this season. He's been having so I just think that if you're going to roll with Tua, you got to have a consistent backup quarterback behind him.
I think they'll probably bring in like Andy Dalton or someone that's capable to start some games.
Well,
Maybe
here's the thing. Jameis and Andy Dalton, aren't they both on one-year contracts with the Saints?
I think
They're on
Jameis
one-year deals.
Okay, I thought Jameis had one more year.
Yeah, Jameis will re-sign. I mean, they're not going to get rid of
I don't know. He did that interview earlier in the year saying how he felt disrespected that he lost his job due to injury.
I'd love for the Saints to bring in Geno Smith as a stopgap, but I don't know if they'll do it.
Geno said today he wants to finish his career in Seattle, so that ain't happening.
He's a one and done in Seattle.
Yeah.
Well, looking at our wild card predictions, we all got San Francisco right. We all got the Jaguars right. We all got Buffalo right. Tyler is the lone wolf with the Giants over the Vikings.
Well done, sir.
So good job.
I need go Bengals and go Bucks to finish undefeated this weekend.
We've all got the Bengals to win tonight. We'll see what happens. It's recorded that Sunday night, so listeners on Tuesday will know what happens.
Cold takes.
Hopefully it's not a TCU situation.
Yeah,
really.
Talking about embarrassing. We'll get to that in a second. And we're split. Myself and Wade have the Cowgirls, and Jacob and Tyler have the Bucks. Well, I don't know why I called them the Cowgirls if I'm picking them to win, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe something special.
You now live in the Cowboys TV market.
Yeah.
So I'll be.
You can watch all the Dallas games and also
that's an upgrade. You don't have to watch the AFC South.
Yeah, I don't have to.
You don't have to watch the Texans anymore.
Yeah,
for those listeners that want guaranteed money, please, for the love of all things on the planet, just take the over for the amount of turnovers from Dak Prescott in this game.
What about Brady? I feel like Brady's at least going to throw one too.
Most quarterbacks, they give a standard half interception for the betting line. I'm sure if you go on there now, Dak's at least a full interception because he's thrown a pick in like 9 straight games.
Yeah, I mean,
Kirk Cousins.
This feels like a Michael Gallup type of game.
Hey, Elliott has like 10 straight games with touchdowns.
Michael Gallup might as well be taken out in a wheelchair to a nursing home at this point.
Oh my gosh. Fletch isn't a fan.
That's how you
of
feel
Michael
about
Gallup.
the man? Okay.
They really should have just paid up for Amari Cooper, though, honestly, and bring him back.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, they drafted Jalen Tolbert, and he's been most of the year.
Yeah, but you can't expect rookies to come in and play right away on a playoff team. I mean, unless you're taking
it's been CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz carrying the way.
Yeah,
you mean to tell me that
Garrett
Wilson,
CeeDee Lamb is considered your veteran guy? Like, give me a break.
He's been there 2 years?
Yeah,
and he's the slender man. He can't. He's like 180.
They seem to put Tony Pollard out in the slot at this rate. If they're just going to stick with Zeke,
they need to find something. They pay Zeke way too much money for what he.
Well, they're not going to get rid of him is the thing. So you got to figure out what to do with Pollard.
He's got one more year on his deal.
You paid him. No team's going to take that contract.
Well, don't say that.
He's
But-
worth keeping around. I mean, money's not an issue there, but he can't be the feature back.
Jerry
anymore.
Jones got all the money in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
That
they
is
can do
true.
whatever they
That
want.
is true.
That's the
Big-
thing. There's so many other good backs, like so many.
They'll just,
Like-
I bet you Pollard will assume the future role probably throughout the playoffs if they keep advancing. And I mean, Zeke scores touchdowns. He's a good goal line back. That's not really been the issue with their offense. It's that they don't have a second weapon outside of Lamb. I mean, Schultz is a good tight end, but
He's no Travis Kelce, where you can treat him as your number one wide receiver.
Yeah, like, and I mean, getting to the game, I mean, let's all talk about what happened in the first time the two teams met. At the beginning of the season, it was a complete, just absolute landslide for the most part. And the Cowboys couldn't do much of anything in Tampa. That's the difference. I mean, they're playing in Tampa, so it's kind of interesting. Dallas, I don't know if they'll ever play a home playoff game at this point.
They did last year, and they blew it.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
They're
they'll
tough
never
to
play
take in the playoffs, but I mean, come on. Tampa Bay just hasn't looked good all year.
Yeah, but it's Tom Brady. Like,
Yeah,
I know, but
I'm
the
talking
stat
myself
line,
out of my
there's
Cowboys
history
pick.
behind this game. Tom Brady is 7-0. We'll see if it
Yes.
goes 7-1 or 8-0
Yeah.
against Dallas.
I think Tom Brady's already going to Las Vegas like next weekend to buy a house and start suiting up for the Raiders.
He's not going to Vegas. I
Why
don't
not?
understand why everybody thinks he's going to another team.
Why wouldn't he?
It makes no sense.
He hates the
Either
coaching
stays
staff in Tampa.
or retires.
He's got to retire at this point. There's
You gotta
no
retire.
way
Like,
he
come
goes.
on, you've been in
He
the
just
league
got a
for
divorce.
so many times. Just get out
Yeah.
the league. Let
Look, you can trade
someone
Darren
else
Waller,
cook in Tampa Bay.
trade Derek Carr. He can bring in Rob Gronkowski himself.
You are living in fantasy
One
land.
more
Like,
time.
you are
Tom
Tom's
living-
not going to
Sanders.
retire. He just went through a divorce with a supermodel because he wanted to keep playing football. The dude's not retiring. There's no way.
Gets,
He's gonna play
gets
till
1
his-
year with
his
Devontae
arm falls
Adams,
off.
Rob Gronkowski, and himself.
Yeah.
One last ride. They go like 7-11, and then he calls it quits. 7-10. And then they call it quits.
I just don't.
That would
Like-
probably still be good enough to win the division.
The
Yeah,
only
really out
place
there.
that would make any sense that he would ever go to is back to New England. That would be it.
New England's got to spend next year figuring out if Mac Jones is the guy.
Nope.
I don't think he
Zappe.
is.
I think
Jimmy
it's
G
Zappe.
reunion in New
Yeah,
England.
Jimmy G. Well, hey, if the Cowboys lose, you think they fire their head coach and Sean Payton moseys on in there?
I
No.
think that Sean Payton's going to be hired by a team in the week.
I think Sean Payton's going to go to the Chargers if that job opens up. That's perfect for him. He's already living in LA, like Tyler discussed last week.
Well, you
And-
already gave my pick away.
Yeah. I just
Well,
think that that's a good situation.
It's definitely a better situation than Arizona. When you
Yeah, I
got-
was thinking Arizona, but
Tyler,
now
the
that
COD
we
player.
saw the choke job of the Chargers, it's looking like Sean Payton is just, yeah. I mean, you got a good
Well-
quarterback already there. You got a good defense. It's just you got all the pieces for a Super Bowl run. You just need a coach, and Sean Payton's the guy to do it.
well, they haven't fired their head coach just yet.
Well, they're
so
going to. It's
yeah. We'll see
they're
he
smart, they
runs shot
are.
the clock.
Can
Other-
we speak to the fact that nobody has recognized that Stanford's former head coach has also interviewed for multiple positions at the NFL?
David
I
Shaw.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That came
So-
across my desk.
That
Like,
also
popped up on
could be
ESPN app.
like a potential like
That's another Cliff Kingsbury and all
West.
the other situations. That's going to be
Yeah.
a bust. If you
it's
can't win at
either-
Stanford, you ain't going to win in the NFL.
Didn't he just get fired from Stanford?
Yep. Well, I think he just quit.
He quit.
He just ultimately
He
quit.
he had enough of it. It was just like,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, he remembered the good old days, and just
Like,
yeah, that was
Andrew Luck, I'm quitting.
Jeez. Well, other NFL news. Guess whose birthday it is today?
Drew Brees!
Drew Brees. I wanted to ask you a favorite Drew Brees moment. Tyler, what's yours?
Well, I'm gonna say, well, obviously there's so many good moments that Drew Brees brought me, and that is ultimately gonna be bringing home the championship. My, I don't know, like 9-year-old self went to the championship parade in New Orleans, so that was definitely an experience. First one
older
in
than
09. So
You were
it's
definitely
easy.
older than 9.
You were 11.
Whatever.
I was like,
Whatever it was. Like I don't know.
You were
You put me on the
12.
spot here, so I was trying to go back to my young days. So
I was
Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
yeah, you
Fudge
were
is
not.
the young bunch out of us.
I thought you were saying about him bringing a championship home that you're going to bring up. Oh, my team has like 75 from like 1994.
Yeah, I was going to ask Fudge's favorite Drew Brees moment, but he's a Patriots guy. He probably doesn't have it.
Favorite Drew Brees moment.
My
Wait,
favorite
what's
Drew
yours?
Brees moment was hopping on the Saints bandwagon with you fools when I got to
Ah,
Louisiana.
going to the dome.
There we go.
And then
Good
riding it
one.
until this year. Now I'm hopping off and going to the Bengals. Bye bye.
Hey.
Went from the Panthers to the Saints to the Bengals.
The
Mine,
NFL's entertainment, man. No, I'd
yeah.
still cheer for the Saints because they're the local team. And
That's what you get to watch on Sunday.
Another one could be I went to the
Well,
Colts Monday night game where he broke. I don't know what record he broke.
yeah, I
but-
remember watching that with you with the Colts.
Passing yards, huh?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was the passing yards.
Yeah,
I was at
Tom
that
took it
game.
back.
I thought y'all went to the one where he broke the touchdown record. Or no, the passing yards was Traquan Smith caught the touchdown.
We weren't
huh?
there. We just were watching on TV.
Yeah, we were watching, but I was at
But-
the game on Monday night where he broke like touchdown passes.
Yeah,
and,
you
like
went with Macy for that.
504.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he definitely did a lot for this area, and yeah, I think it's just a really cool thing that he won the Super Bowl right
Just
after.
a matter of time where he gets a
Katrina.
statue out there in champion spots.
Oh, definitely. I mean, number
Yeah.
9 won't be worn really anywhere in Louisiana.
Yeah, between Joe Burrow and Drew Brees.
And I think that's pretty special. Interesting note, you said that's who I get to watch. Well, I thought it was like a Louisiana statewide thing with the Bengals, and Tyler might be able to attest to this, but I saw a map. They're not giving like the New Orleans market the Bengals games if the Saints aren't playing in prime time. They're giving them like the Cowboys or the Falcons or stuff. But
Yep.
Baton Rouge Parish, East Baton Rouge Parish, and a few of the surrounding parishes, they're giving the Bengals games each week. And I thought it was just a statewide thing, but they're
Yeah.
doing that because of it's the market where Joe played college.
Yeah, they're not going to put on both games that the Saints are playing at the time since it's a New Orleans thing. Yeah, I've only watched like 2 Bengals games that came on throughout the season.
But they're
I mean,
giving us that if the Saints aren't on live, like they're foregoing whatever the other regional matchup would be. It's usually like the Panthers or something. So I've appreciated that. But
Yeah,
I mean, Joe's a legend in Baton Rouge. You
I
gotta
mean
think it
they
makes
know the
sense.
market. Like
Yeah.
Baton Rouge is going to watch it. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
surprised they're not doing that for New Orleans too.
that's what I'm saying. I thought they would do it for everyone until I saw that graphic. But I think it would be a good idea if they would.
Especially with the state of the Saints right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe Burrow's a legend out here in Central Texas. Put him on so I don't have to watch the Cowboys and the Texans.
Honestly,
Every
they
week.
should just let
You get to watch high school
people
football.
pick like 3 games. I mean, you can watch almost any college football game you want. The NFL makes it so hard. Same thing with
Yeah.
baseball. Baseball is even worse. There's like a map. If you live in this one little circle in Iowa, you have 9 MLB teams blacked out in your range because you live within 200 miles of 9 MLB teams.
Well, sorry to the Iowans.
Probably like 500 people that are affected by that, but still.
My
Interesting note.
favorite Drew Brees moment was when he put the spin cycle on the Falcons defense and dove in for the
That was
touchdown.
pretty cool.
Wasn't that like a game winning? It was something significant about that
It
touchdown.
was I think it was like the season opener, but it was a game winner.
Yeah, it was something like that. He just put these 2 dudes on skates.
If you're ever at the 1 yard line and Drew Brees is there, you're going to get a touchdown every time. He did the little boop and put it over the
Yeah.
goal line.
every
The
time.
Drew Brees sneak.
Yep.
Probably had like 100 career rushing yards, and it was like 100 1-yard touchdown rushes.
It was just 1 yard 1 yard runs.
Probably
Most
so.
effective 1 yard rusher when you needed him most.
Well, if he was playing in the league now, I think he'd be the winner of this segment every week that we got coming up. We got our dog of the week. So I'm going to hit the intro. So this week's dog of the week is brought to you by our friends over at Piper Golf. Pipe your drives with Piper Golf Balls. Use our link below, piper.golf/sportscramble10. Get yourself 10% off. tour quality balls at a not tour quality price. So, dog of the week, Tyler, who you got? I'll let you start it.
This is going to be a team award for me, and that's going to be the hottest team in the NBA, the Memphis Grizzlies. They're on a 9-game winning streak right now. And if y'all didn't see the dunk that Ja put on, I wish I could
Put
show
them
it
on
right
a
now.
poster.
Put them on an absolute poster. Like, oh my gosh, this is why I love watching Ja Morant play.
You see the tweet that he had? He
Yep.
said, if you want to go viral, jump with me. I was like, okay, man.
Put him in the dunk contest. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we waiting for?
We got Mac McClung coming out of the G League to play. Why isn't Ja in the dunk? I guess he's just
Probably doesn't want to get hurt or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I remember I missed the dunk contest days back of early 2000s. Yeah, Dwight Howard in the Superman cape. That was awesome.
Whenever
Jacob, who you got?
Got robbed.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler decided to steal my dog of the week, and yeah, my team, and he's stealing it from me. Good gosh. I'm gonna stick with it. No, I don't have any other dog of the week. No, I just think that was a crazy dunk. He had one similar like a few games before on Jakob Poeltl again, like for the second year in a row. Absolutely posterized him. Like there's just a list of people on his list like to posterize, and I know LeBron's probably at the top of his list for posterizing. So like it's gotta be like it's gotta happen at least this year. That and the Pacers game last night, he also had a similar block to the one he had last year in LA that went viral with him like literally blocking at the top of the square and just literally blocked. I forget who it was for the Pacers last night, but literally pinned the ball on the square, which is crazy. The fact that he can get up that high and he's 6'2" is insane. But yeah, it's incredible. He said something about like it's the shoes or whatever, like that he's able to jump because he's got that new signature shoe out now. So like
those are clean too.
They're clean, like they're pretty clean shoes.
Well, it's definitely helping with his marketing campaign of that. Wade,
they haven't lost the game ever since he's worn it.
Hey, it's winner shoes right there.
Dog of the week?
Yeah, you got one?
I'll go Christian McCaffrey. Pretty cool to see him back in the playoffs, and I think he's finally back to full health and really showing that receiving ability as well as his rushing ability, and pretty much just what the doctor ordered for San Fran. I mean, you could argue Brock Purdy is kind of leading the way there, but I don't think Brock Purdy would be putting up the numbers he is if he didn't have a guy like McCaffrey that he can just absolutely rely on to tote the rock. So got to go see him.
He really like revitalized his career in San Fran, and I think he'll be, if they win the Super Bowl, he's going to be a big part of it. Mine, it popped up on my phone this morning, and I watched the video, and I was like, oh, this is my dog of the week for sure. Isaiah Stevens out of Colorado State. They're down 3, 2 seconds left to play in the game. The man hits a half-court buzzer beater against UNLV to force overtime, right? And then they go on to then he hits a game-winning 3 with 1 second left on the clock to win the game. So just Mr. Clutch, ice in his veins, give him the rock. He's winning the game for you. That's my dog of the week pick. But dog of the week, once again, brought to you by Piper Golf. Pipe your drives with Piper golf balls and hit it as good as Jacob does. So let's
probably not right now because I haven't swung a golf club in a very long time.
I hit my maximum swing speed ever tonight. 142 miles per hour.
Nice.
Jesus.
Okay. I don't know if that's
was that ball speed or swing speed?
I don't know which one.
It had to be ball speed.
Ball speed.
No way.
If we did our little alternate match, we would probably get killed the way that Chet and Wade have been playing.
Probably a ball speed then.
Yeah,
but it was
two guys over here.
It didn't look like it was going that fast because it was one of those like stinger shots where it just was like throwing a football 100 yards down the fairway.
Right.
But it went. It probably was never more than 15 yards off the ground, and it just zinger.
Little,
So
little tiger stinger action.
Okay,
Yeah.
a little stinger.
But that was with a hybrid, so I mean that's kind of cheating. But couldn't do that with an iron.
I got a kind of golf related thing I want to bring up here. Did y'all ever realize when you're looking at a football field, that's basically just a short par 3?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
still can't wrap my head around that one. And today at the golf suites, you can do like you're playing a course, and
Yeah.
it will say, "Okay, you're 30 yards from the green." You know how painful it is to hit a golf ball 30 yards, like, but on the course, that's just a chip, a pretty long one, honestly.
Yeah.
So, but there, it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm hitting it like right past my shoe. I mean, I would hit it like any bit of distance, and it would say, "Oh, you hit it over the green." So, I mean, I just can't put that in perspective when you're on the course.
Like
It-
that's like a what? A 56 or a 52-degree wedge. Like
It just feels like
that's-
you're not hitting the
that's
ball at
what's
all.
crazy. Like it's not even a full club. Like if you
Well,
were to hit a golf,
Yeah,
from
like
the
my
ends of the end
100-yard
zone.
shot is like a 3/4 56-degree, and that would be the entire length of a football field.
So if you teed up a drive, you would be hitting like the
out
upper
of the
deck.
stadium. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
insane.
be out of there
I mean,
I feel like that with baseball as well.
if you
Like,
hit it right. That is.
I feel like if I teed up like an 8-iron at home plate, like
Oh, it's gone.
yeah, it's gone. But
mean,
like
400
doesn't feel like
feet
it would be.
dead center. That's only 133 yards. That's like a gap wedge for me
Like
right
think
there.
about that.
And you're
Dead
hitting it out of
center
the
for a
park.
baseball field is farther than a football field.
That's
what's
strange.
weird.
It's so weird when you're down there on the field. It seems so strange.
I don't know. Baseball feels big on TV, but when you're there in person,
It's small.
or if you're standing in the outfield, it doesn't feel that big.
It depends on where you're at, though. Like Atlanta, like Old Turner Field, it felt like you were in a freaking crayon box.
Yeah.
Like it was so small. And
When we were in Houston, though, and we were sitting on the third base
Yeah.
side, I felt like it wouldn't take much to get a home run out to left.
well, that's because it's also one of the shortest distances in left, like in the MLB. But like, yeah, that's weird. Like them, like Boston with the Green Monster, that's extremely short. It's the shortest out of
And
all of them.
Pesky's pole too.
Yeah, and Pesky's pole on the other side, like it's like what? It's not. It's 200 or it's like right at 300.
299,
Like
something
That's
that.
only like
299,
100 yards. That's insane.
Yeah,
Get a
that's
putter.
what's wild.
Yeah,
Get a
like
tee, put a putter, then it's gone.
Yeah, but in all these sports, the ball is moving, and there's somebody trying to defend you.
yeah, I'm just saying it's just crazy to think like you've got we consider a 100-yard par 3 is like a short par 3. Like you don't really see any that short. That's like a a pitch shot, like your approach shot on the green. Or in Wade's case
Okay.
with this 145-yard swing speed, that's like he's not even hitting that shot. 'Cause
He would
he's
hit
on
a
the green
tree
every time.
over. It would be like out of bounds.
But that's just I don't know. When you put things in perspective like that, I was thinking about it Saturday when I was on the golf course. I'd use my little rangefinder. Like that's 102 yards. Like that's a football field. And I try to guess the yardage. Like, oh yeah, that's looking like 60.
That's like
It's like-
3 football fields away from me. We're gonna need a
Yeah,
I'm gonna need
especially when
4
you're on
Joe
like
Burrows.
when you're on like a 360-yard par 4 or something, and you're looking at it.
Plywoods far away from where I am.
Yeah, that's just I don't know.
Okay, but you want to feel even weirder? So you're taking it from the hitting the golf ball perspective. Now take Josh Allen, put him on the tee box on a par 3. You're telling me that Josh Allen can only
Can't
throw the ball
throw it.
65 yards max, and he's gonna put it like right past the women's tees?
That's insane.
Right? Yeah, that's
Like,
that's the weird part.
that's-
I know that we're
that
saying
just,
that
like,
you think
broke
you
my
could fit a par
brain.
3 on a football field and whatnot, but if Josh Allen stepped up on the tee box,
That really does put things in perspective.
I would feel like he
like
could
I'm
hit
actually
crazy.
like thinking about.
Yeah, when
That's
like we talk
ins-
about them like throwing a missile like on the football field, and it's like
He's getting
that's
it
not
past the
actually a
Reds
missile.
from the
Like yeah,
Blacks.
like that's the part that's
Didn't even
weird.
get it
he's
past the
dropping his
ladies.
pants and throwing it again.
That is the rule. If you
Around
didn't
his
get
ass,
past
you
the
gotta
ladies,
get
Steve.
That's the Reds.
Off
You
your
have to drop
pants.
your pants.
Can you imagine like him like humming it as hard as he can, and it like trickles out
rolls
past
to the
Reds?
red team.
That's how
But
I
you would
feel.
be
like,
on the football
think
field. You'd be
about
like,
this.
"Oh, that's a great throw."
Think about
Yeah.
this: a Justin Tucker kick, like that kick in Detroit,
That's insane.
wouldn't even make it.
It wouldn't even get.
Now that looks long on a football field, like a kick when they like set up from like
Yeah.
the logo.
Like that
Think
wouldn't
about
even make it.
like a kickoff. They kick it
Yeah.
70 yards. You're not even making it to the green.
Yeah,
No.
I think that's actually
That's like
weirder
a-
than
that's
hitting
like
a
a
golf ball at the
bunker.
stadium.
You hit a shot fat off the tee box, and it's going
Mhm.
70 yards. Like
It's just
gonna roll
rolling
70
down.
yards.
It's just rolling down the fairway, hoping that it
Because if you
rolls
take the
all way
golf
green.
to the football field perspective, like, and you hit it out the back of the end zone, you're like, okay, like that's a good shot still. Like that's 100 yards. Like that's a good
Mhm.
pitching wedge shot, good lob wedge shot. But when you take what would be there's nobody in the NFL that can throw 100 yards. So if you put them on the golf course, seeing them fall like
It'd be
way short of the
hilarious.
green.
Back that can throw for 100
That's
yards,
funny.
then he just needs to be the number one
You know,
overall pick.
you know
in
what
college.
they should do is for like whenever they do the matches with like when they did it with Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers, and Allen, they should have one hole where they throw a football and see if just
How
take
many
the score
tries
on
does
that.
it get to the green?
No, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. There's been times where I've been on the golf course and I wish I could throw it off the tee because I can't
Yeah,
hit it in
really?
bounds. But yeah, the distance is crazy.
That's just so weird to think about, man. It really puts it into perspective when it's like, oh yeah, that's only 100 yards. But like when I'm at the range and I'm like trying to hit like a 50-yard little pitch shot, it's like they have the little nets in front of you, like the baskets to catch it, and that's 50 yards. It's like that's like 20 feet. What are you talking about? It's like, nope, hit it with the scope, 50 yards. It's crazy. The whole Josh Allen throwing the football off the tee box and it just like
It looks so wimpy.
I know. Well, you saw for the Pro Bowl, they're doing a longest drive contest with the NFL players.
Hmm.
That should
did
be. I
not.
mean, we saw Mahomes and Allen can smoke it. I'll be interested to see what other NFL players can hit a golf ball. We mentioned at the beginning of the show, we were going to bring up how wrong we were of the national championship. Jacob Wade and I sucked at making this pick. Tyler, take your moment of glory. You are the supreme ruler of the college football pick'em. Let's hear a speech, a farewell speech for college football season.
Yeah, I definitely think it was a great season, but really anticlimactic ending. We had two good college football playoffs, probably the best two semifinal games we've had, and then we had a dud of a national championship game. It was just a blowout. I expected Georgia to win, but to put up 65 points at a national championship game is absurd. TCU, you could just feel it from the start that they were just completely overmatched. And like I told y'all, this is like TCU and teams like programs like Notre Dame, they're going to get into the playoff and the national championship, but especially they just can't compete with the likes of Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama. It's just you got 5 stars on the field. TCU really, they're 3 stars so that they had their 4 stars. I mean, Max Duggan had a pretty good season, but Georgia's defense really locked them down the whole way.
Yeah, Georgia just outmatched them, and
They're
they
not
came
going
out on
anywhere,
top.
folks.
No, they're
I'd be
not.
scared.
I'm curious to see what their quarterback situation looks like next year. If they
I don't
go-
know. They
It
just
doesn't
lost the
truly
offensive
matter, though.
coordinator, Garrett
Might
Riley.
be-
He's going to Clemson, so that's definitely going to change up their offense, especially their scheme for sure.
Well, you got LSU's backup quarterback Max, or not Max Howard, whatever. his name
Walker
is.
Howard.
Walker Howard, transferring. Looking at TCU, Georgia, Alabama, Florida,
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. So who knows? Maybe he'll be the next big thing.
Nope.
He'll probably get a
In
TCU.
In my opinion, like there's just schools that guys pick that they want to transfer to that just shouldn't be on their list because they're clear cut for like 4 and 5 star guys. Like, I'm sorry, but Will Howard, Alabama should not be on his list.
Well, Walker Howard was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school.
Well, yeah, but he hadn't played worth
Well,
a darn
TCU's
at
on his main
LSU.
list because Jack Best is his former
I
tight end.
don't understand why
He's
he's
his teammate.
transferring. The
He's
dude's
gonna
a-
sit at Alabama or Ole Miss.
He's going to
Yeah,
sit
it's
at
gotta
wherever
be-
he goes.
It's got to be because Garrett Nussmeier is already lined up for the starter in 2024.
I think
Yeah.
Nussmeier said, "Look, I like playing for LSU. My dad is rich.
Look,
I will be willing to stick around for a year
Dad
and
is
then
rich.
go
look,
for
it
the
sucks,
job in
but I
24.
mean, you got guys coming in. You got Ricky Collins coming in this recruiting class, and you got Colin Hurley, who's another 5-star recruit. So LSU will be fine.
Yeah. See you later, Walker Howard. Yeah, it was nice knowing you.
I don't
I
know.
think
I
he
just don't
needs
like
to
the
go
whole landscape
somewhere-
of college football at the moment.
Yeah.
He needs to go somewhere in the Big 12. I think that's his only opportunity. Get out of the SEC. I don't think he's
Yeah.
gonna have a future in the SEC.
If he goes
That's
to
the problem.
TCU, I'm calling for some tampering. Jack Besh and now Walker Howard.
I mean, there's been tampering all throughout college football. I mean, can't you not see? I mean, Sam Hartman was definitely tampered at Notre Dame.
Do you see the Florida's recruit had a $13 million NIL
Yep.
deal and then he backed out of it?
And see, that's the part I don't like is like
See,
you should want to go to Florida, not want
And that's
to
another thing.
spend
We haven't
money.
even seen CJ Stroud make a decision where he's going to the draft or not.
Yeah, and everybody's just saying, "Oh yeah, CJ Stroud, number 2 pick, or number 2."
Neither has
quarterback.
Like how much, like
running back
like
or wide
you
receiver.
could probably get more money of an NIL deal than you can right now for being a first round pick.
That's so. How much of an
Salary
NIL
wise,
deal?
yes. Signing bonus, no.
What's their signing bonus? 10 million.
Like $15-20 million.
That's
But that's only
BS.
like top 10, isn't it? That's not the whole first round.
CJ Stroud would make more money going to the Texans than he would Ohio State, but he's been kind of one of the rare guys who, yes, he makes NIL money, no doubt about it, but he's been a very team first guy throughout all of this. And I think he sees Ohio State has potential for next year,
And
and
they're
he
not
might
losing
not want to
money.
go play for the Texans.
Number one
Texans
pick,
or the Colts.
$27 million signing bonus. Number 2, $25 million signing bonus, and then it doesn't say number 3. It just says number 16. It's 9. At 16, it drops to 9
Yeah,
million.
it's probably like
So
20
use your
million.
imagination.
No rookie should be making that kind of money. Period. The end. My opinion.
That's
I mean, it's a lot of
insane.
guaranteed money, but look at
Mhm.
like what the Bengals
I mean,
are
half of
paying,
those guys are
paying
not
Joe
gonna
Burrow
play in their
versus
first year.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the
they,
sit on the
they
bench.
get
Half of these guys
it's
are
a
gonna be
$41
bust.
million contract, and we talk about how that's not a lot of money, but I mean, in hindsight, and you got to think about the market and who you're talking to. Us, it's a ton of money.
It's a lot.
$41
It's not like
million
a ton of money, like NFL terms. Like there's
Right.
guys
You got
making like 100 million. a year.
Mahomes signed $400 million contract or whatever it was.
But the problem is they're being incentivized just to make the NFL. They literally could go to the NFL draft and get their bonus
Jamarcus
and be
Russell.
fine for the rest of their life and never play a down of football.
Dude,
ever.
Yeah, his name is Jamarcus Russell, and he's
Yeah.
he's probably bankrupt now. I think I saw something on that, but that's correct. Yeah, there's no NIL deal that keeps CJ Stroud at Ohio
There's
State.
NIL deals that could keep him there because he could make a nice living playing college football next year, but there's nothing that could match what he would make NFL wise. Now, I
Right.
did see something that, okay, if you go to a situation like the Jets or Houston, somewhere where quarterbacks haven't really panned out, you're potentially costing yourself a second deal. Look at Geno Smith. It took the guy 10 years to really be respected as a starter in the NFL because he had a very rough first 4 years with the Jets.
Mhm.
So he lost any possibility of having a big second contract in the NFL. He had to settle to be a backup. Now he looks like a starter, but he's 33 years old. So he's never going to get that second big contract. If Stroud goes to, a team like Tampa Bay after Tom Brady retires that is decent and can develop him, then he could be looking at a good second contract. But my
That's
opinion
true.
is you got to take what's in front of you.
Yeah, especially with
because
the
if
next
you
sport.
if you stay in college, you take the NIL money. There's always a chance you get hurt, and then you get drafted in like the 4th or 5th round.
Brock
Well,
Purdy
think
was
about-
the consensus first round pick after his junior year. He came back to Iowa State as Mr. Irrelevant a year later. Granted, he ends up in San Fran. It's a good scenario to learn in, and he's very relevant now. But think about the amount of money he lost.
Yeah.
I mean, put it in terms of this. Think about Lamar Jackson and some of the other guys that would still be in college right now, that
Yeah.
had they not left, NIL probably would have kept them there for longer had it been in effect. But they left, because they basically thought, well, college is college, and the only way I'm going to make money doing this is going to the NFL, and they left for the NFL early, there were a lot of people like that. And now that they're in the NFL, there's guys like Tua that who knows if he'll ever win a championship? Who knows if he'll be with the Dolphins in 2 years? I mean, who knows where he'll be? It's one of those situations like Wade said with Geno Smith, where it took him 10 years to become a starter with a team he's been with for a long time after his, career basically, I don't want to say was a failure in New York, but the closest thing to it. I mean, that's one of those things where he just got another opportunity, and a lot of those guys don't get a second opportunity. I mean, at that level, if you can't cut it there in the first 4 years and you're the starter and the opportunity, they'll get rid of you as soon as they can because there's a guy waiting in the wing in the NFL draft like CJ Stroud or Stetson Bennett or some other quarterback that's younger, got more talent, and they can pay him less money to go do the same job that you're doing.
Well, what changes from this year to next year for Stroud is what I don't understand. I mean,
I think the quarterback
Nothing.
class. I think more quarterbacks are going to pass him up because Caleb Williams is going to be number one. You have Drake May coming out of North
Yeah, if
Carolina.
I'm CJ Stroud, I'm going for sure.
Yeah, this is your best
live update here. Jamar just
best
scored.
positioning.
Hey, that boy
Oh,
Jamar.
I don't even have the game on. What am I doing?
Well, I
And they
think you're
just
going
got
to
in a fight.
see. I think you're going to see a big thing NIL wise, pulling people out of the drafts in baseball and basketball. Because I'm looking.
I think it will help retain talent on campuses.
I'm
It
looking
hopefully
at.
eliminates more like one just.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
1 year
NBA
stints.
contracts. I can't find their signing bonus, but for the number one pick in the NBA draft, year one you make $9 million.
Look
Which
how
is a
much
lot.
Anthony Davis. Look how much Anthony Davis got in 2013.
Oh, NBA, they set you up for life, man.
Yep.
Number one overall pick can sign for anywhere between $7 million and $10 million for that first year. And then it goes up. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. It goes.
I don't
up
know why the NBA contracts have gotten so
Yeah.
high. I mean,
Think
But
about this.
think of like
John Morant
MLB.
made more money on his signing bonus than he did in his actual rookie year contract.
but wait till he gets that second contract. I mean, it's
Well,
going to be
he's already gotten because he's
astronomical.
already gotten max.
Be
They
one of the
give him
highest
a
paid players.
rookie max extension. Yeah.
They get
Well-
way more money than a comparable NFL player, unless it's a quarterback.
They're just gonna like give him a blank check and be like, "Here, write how much money you want, and this is how much we're gonna sign you for."
There's franchise guys in the NBA that'll never leave. There's people that just will stay with the one organization for entirety. I mean, there's only a handful of guys that really ever do it. But, I think now is probably when, you'll see a lot of guys stay with teams. Like, even this last trade deadline really wasn't a whole lot of moves because guys are staying. They're making more money to stay where they're at. There's people that'll be there.
Like Giannis is a good
forever.
example.
Well,
Yeah, like he'll never leave Milwaukee.
Here's why
Morant
the
will
NBA
probably never leave Memphis. I mean,
But you have a
there's
guy
just
like John Wall who's like completely irrelevant, and I think he is finally off the Wizards. But like about 2 years into that deal, they probably deeply regretted that deal.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And he's going to be making like $40 million a year to be not even a top 20 point guard in the NBA, wherever
No,
he is now.
he'll never, and he's never made an All-Star game, and he'll never make an All-Star game. That's the thing.
He just got a heck of a song. Woody. So I'm looking. The reason the NBA players make so much is because obviously there's less players. Say each league makes NFL versus NBA. NFL say they make $8 billion that year. You have to divide that between 1,696 total players. That's 4.7 million a player. NBA, or last year the NFL made $8 billion. Last year the NBA made $3.7 billion, $5 billion left, but there's only 450 players. So that's $8.2 million a player. So it's a difference of it's double the salary because there's so much less players. I mean, I guess, and then you of course you have your stars like your Anthony Davises or your LeBron James, and then you have your low level dudes that are just making like league minimum. So,
And I feel like each player has a little bit more brand awareness with them because they're not wearing a helmet. There's less of them on the court than the field.
you like associate more with that player than you
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and there's like moments like when it's like in the NBA, we associate LeBron James as being a Nike athlete, or this guy being a Nike athlete. Like when we talk in terms of the NFL, like we don't say, "Oh, that guy's a Nike athlete or an Adidas athlete or this or that." Like
Right.
they're just playing football for like that team, whatever gear they wear, kind of
And
thing.
the
And
NFL
it's
has
like,
really standardized a lot of that too. Like even if
right,
they are a Nike athlete, like the only thing, well, if they're a Nike athlete, the league's already Nike anyway, so like you don't think
yeah,
anything of it. But if they're an Adidas athlete, all they can wear is like Adidas gloves. Like they can't wear an Adidas helmet or something.
Yeah.
right, yeah,
I guess
because
the
like
cleats. They have
Yeah.
you got cleats and sleeves, but I thought sleeves had to be league. I think
Hey,
sleeves
the
are
sleeves
like
are
league
league.
regulated.
Sleeves
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I
socks
think
are
it's
league regulated.
just a regular sleeve. Like it's
We can
See,
have
but when
Neil
you
hop
go,
on in a few weeks and talk to us
Yeah.
about that.
yeah, but when you go to the NBA, it's not regulated in the sense that it just has to be that color. Like there's so many
Right.
guys that just wear different things in the league. I mean socks are regulated in the NBA because it's a part of the uniform, but like
Mhm.
any sort of accessories like sleeves, leg sleeves, whatever it may be, with those shoes, of course, are the biggest thing. Like there was a lot of problems with that. Like in the NFL, when you look at it, most guys are wearing the same color cleats. Like when you get to the NBA, there's like guys
you got
wearing
dudes in pink shoes.
Yeah, I'm not a
red,
huge
pink.
fan of that.
Yeah. But
Looks
the
kind of
thing
weird.
is that they're able to do that, like to a certain extent, because of them now being able to have their like city edition jerseys or their
Mm-hmm.
whatever jersey. It's now into their color scheme, so even if they're just wearing their regular home jersey, they're able to wear the color from their city edition you know
And
jerseys.
baseball's
So
kind
that's
of
like,
gotten like that too, because
right,
you got guys wearing like the
Custom
Venezuelan
cleats.
flag on their arm and stuff, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's our third
Verdu-
color.
yeah,
Yeah.
Verdugo's wearing green because the Red Sox have like green
The
in their,
green alternate. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
for
we're
their
talking
strap.
about basketball. I want to talk about a basketball game, but it's not a men's basketball game. It's a women's basketball team, and we're talking about the LSU Lady Tigers. 18-0. I think they're 19
Yeah, we
0
don't need to
now.
talk about our men's basketball
Yeah,
team
the
getting blown
LSU
Yeah,
out by
Tyler might be
Alabama.
more interested in coming up for one of their games than
Yeah,
the women's
honestly,
team.
I'm interested in going to one. It looks
We could, if they play
interesting.
South
They were-
Carolina, we can go
They
to.
were the
Well, no,
women's
it's a
team.
road game, but
It
they
was
do. I think they
packed
play
today.
Tennessee at home, so that would be a good game to go to.
They
The
move
arena,
the ball a lot more.
Yeah.
the PMAC was packed
That's true.
today. They beat Auburn by 30. They're 18, I think 19-0, ranked number 5. We got Angel Reese, who has a double-double in like every single game.
No, it is in every game. It
Yeah,
broke
she had-
the SEC record today, 18 straight double
And
doubles.
she's a transfer,
Yeah, she came from
Maryland.
23 points, 15 rebounds today. I mean, put her on the men's team. Like
They-
they
Yeah, and
could
I
use
wasn't
it.
even paying attention because I thought she was the number one recruit in the country that they got.
No, Flo
Apparently
J.
that girl is
Johnson
still
was
in
the
high
number one
school.
recruit.
So yeah, she was the number one recruit
Yep.
to Maryland, and then she transferred in. So next year they got another girl that's coming in that's like a McDonald's All-American, like the LeBron James of
They
women's
are
basketball.
loaded. Kim Mulkey's doing work down there in BR.
LSU is a women's
I
basketball
told her
school now,
to. I
folks.
told y'all to let her coach the men's team.
Yeah,
she
just
should.
let them coach both.
I mean,
Hey, listen. Y'all's head coach is a transfer from, the transfer coach from Murray State.
yeah,
I
he
think
coached
they'll do
Josh.
fine in due
Yeah, it's
time.
just
Yeah,
I think they'll do
it's
fine in due time.
it's
this is
recruiting.
typical LSU basketball. They beat everyone out of conference, and then as soon as the SEC play starts, they win the first 2 games by like 2 points, and everybody's like, "Oh." They play Kentucky, and you typically lose, but it's a close game.
Yeah,
Everyone's like,
Kentucky.
"Oh, this is our year," and then they just fall apart.
I'm definitely
Went
not
up
picking
100 to
Kentucky
Bama.
again.
Yeah,
Outside
Why
of
do we always
Saturday's game
play
against
Kentucky
Tennessee, they
like
have
right
played great.
then? Like every year, like clockwork, we play Kentucky on like January 10th,
Yep.
and it's a close game, like you
We
said.
play
and
Tennessee
then-
too. Hey, this week it gets even worse. You play number 21 Auburn, and then you play number 5 Tennessee. So have fun with that.
That's
Hey,
a
maybe
brutal
we'll pull off some
stretch.
upsets. Who knows? But no, I had to give a shout out to the LSU
Yeah, the women's team is currently
The
projected as
women's
a
team
number
is
2.
doing real well.
Yeah, they are kicking butt.
But mark
right
my
now.
word, number 1 seed by the time the tournament happens.
They'll probably be undefeated by the time the tournament.
Nah, I don't know. They got to go to Columbia. I feel like If they're gonna lose, I feel like that's gonna be their only loss if they lose a
If
game.
you think if LSU's good at women's basketball, South Carolina still has the
South
better
Carolina
roster.
is still
South
like,
Carolina's been good at women's basketball
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
So,
UConn's fallen off.
they are.
well, didn't they lose their coach?
No, he's still there, but
I thought he retired.
I think he's still there, but these teams like South Carolina and LSU.
Teams are starting to take over, use the transfer portal more.
Yeah, Kim Mulkey's getting her feet wet and really dominating at this point. Another LSU sports, just all about LSU tonight. I've got my TMZ segment of the week, and that is brought to you by our friends over at Yeti. Yeti offers free shipping on orders.
Do they want to be
$50 and up.
sponsored by this TMZ segment?
It's a weird one.
It is a weird one.
But you can head on over to our link yetis.pxf.io/scramble. Get yourself a cooler ready for spring's coming up soon in a few months. All those tailgates you're going to be going to for baseball season.
Heck, I am so excited.
Get yourself a cooler, and Tyler, you could bring your drinks with you to the tailgates, or get yourself a nice cup, luggage to pack.
I'll be going to a lot of games on a road to Omaha this year.
We can get 12 coolers and sit on them, and then be able to look into the stadium.
See, this is why we need a berm.
Just stack them.
We need a berm.
Yes.
Yeah. So head on over, use our link, get free shipping on orders $50 up. TMZ segment of the week. Everyone knows who Olivia Dunn is. LSU gymnast, but also TikTok
I was going to
star.
suggest this one for you. You read my mind.
TikTok star, Twitter famous. She does it all. And I mean, she's a very good gymnast for LSU. LSU gymnastics is typically one of the top 5 teams in the country. Well, she went viral this weekend for another reason. Her fans, very cringy video.
Not the
cringy.
reason that you want to go viral.
No, LSU coach announces that they're beefing up security for their upcoming matches. I think they play in Kentucky.
Yeah, they played.
week.
They have a tough stretch. Like they play Oklahoma tomorrow, the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah, so they're beefing up security.
It's a meet.
Right, exactly. Competing.
Competing,
yes. Beefing up security.
Line them up, offense, defense.
Yeah, let them go.
Hey, we'll take that. We saw what happened on the football field, 63-28.
Like you have to have 2 of them on the bar at the same time, and 2 on the
uneven bars. They have to like
the bounce beam go at each other. It's like a jousting match.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, but they're beefing up security at these meets because the fans have become so crazed with Olivia Dunn, or better known as Livy. There's a video going around where one of the gymnasts walks out. They're chanting, "We want Livy. We want Livy." And she walks out. It's not Olivia Dunn. It's her teammate or whoever it is. And they go, "You're not Livy." Boo! And they're all screaming. It's all these like frat dudes screaming.
Okay, it's definitely like Utah jabronis who were like high on.
Yeah.
And I guess that she's pretty well liked on the team by like the other girls.
Oh, they all love her.
That would like make me mad if I mean,
she
she's
does
good
have
now, but she's
like
not
a big
the number 1 on
spotlight
the team.
too.
Yeah.
Well, and she's also, I mean, she's got a big NIL deal, and she's opened the door for the other gymnasts on the team to get them too. Like one of the other gymnasts, I forget her name. She's also famous on TikTok. She's got a pretty big following. But like, dudes, if you're at this meet chanting, "We want Livy," and then booing the other gymnasts, like, come on.
I mean, you got to support all the gymnasts. You can't just
take your weird obsession with her bathwater somewhere else. Like, people are trying. They're trying.
Is
to
it much different than the
bathwater.
Joe Burrow situation?
That is.
I get.
I don't know.
LSU just breeds likable.
I don't know if it ever got weird.
But our friend Stephanie, she has a water cup that Joe drank out of.
I feel like whenever like LSU tries to put a statue, they'll have
Chet
people
kept
try
the
to
cup
steal
from
it.
Livy Dunn, that'd be kind of weird too. So
yeah, that would be weird if I had.
People try to steal the Joe Burrow statue. How much people are crazy about him.
If they put a Olivia Dunn statue up, there's going to be some weird things happening on that campus. I can promise you that. She's good, but like you said, she's not the number 1 and number 2.
There's already
don't put it on the walk home
from
from
the head
to
campus
the
already.
dorms.
Oh man, look, I respect her. She gets that bag for what she does, but like the dudes calling for her bathwater, that's just weird, man. We might have to put this one on TikTok. Maybe she'll like it. We'll get a bunch of followers. Or probably get a
Oh,
bunch of
because then you're no
haters.
better than those
Heck
guys.
no.
Did
I don't
see
want
the
a bath
video?
water. It's weird.
Did you see the video of the cringy guys holding up the sign, like sitting in the nosebleeds,
Yes.
like attempting to get like further down there and like get her attention and stuff? Like,
Yeah, if you
that
wanted the
was
attention, like at least get better seats.
There's
And
a
it's hard to get
dude-
tickets to those games,
And
or
then
to the meets.
The
'Cause,
student
like,
section was already packed like 2 hours
Yeah.
before the
It was like
meet.
a
We
video
were up
of,
there
like,
in the
progressive
nosebleeds
time,
whenever
like,
we
over
tried to
time.
go.
and all you saw was just those guys up in the nosebleeds, and then they would just keep working their way down, and they were interrupting the meet. So the cops had and the security had to go
Yeah.
up there and like shut them up, and then just the look of disappointment on their faces when they're sitting in the nosebleeds, no longer holding their signs up because they got shut down.
The
was
LSU coach
hilarious.
said that he had to change his policy. Typically, for the meets after the girls perform, he lets them go sit in the stands with their family, which makes sense. Visit with their family. They don't
Yeah.
allow that anymore. They don't allow them in the stands because of the crazed horn dogs that are at these meets. It's insane.
I don't even think it's
calm
LSU
down.
fans. It was just probably people from Utah
No,
or
it's
somebody.
it's no. Well, it's people obsessed with her.
It
It's
could
just-
happen
it's
here
crazy.
too. It's just a trend.
Yeah, I mean, people are obsessed with her. There's this one dude on TikTok I saw. I dove into this. I was interested to see what was going on.
Jeez,
You-
good
you
lord.
He has
did
a
a
printout
full-on,
of her.
like,
He
investigation?
has a printout of Olivia Dunn that he makes videos with every day, and he tags her every
Yes.
single day.
The
Tags her.
heck?
The
Comments on
cardboard
all her
cutout.
videos. She
That's very
followed
odd.
him. She followed him on TikTok, and dude, he went crazy. He went absolutely insane.
Okay,
I
maybe
mean,
do put this on TikTok.
Like, she enjoys
Stimping.
it though. Like, that's the,
Stimping big.
that's
Oh yeah,
the
she
weird
thinks it's
part.
funny.
She like what?
Well, can you blame her? It builds her brand. She's through the roof. She's trending every week.
It's just
like
cringe, bro. It is
it's
mega.
the
cringe.
video is super cringy. I
It's
mean,
mega cringe.
it's like the Joe Burrow situation, but it never got this far. Imagine if it got this far with Joe Burrow. Like,
If he stayed another season after that, it probably would.
yeah, if that was his sophomore season when we won the national championship, like,
It
No, but,
probably
like,
would have.
The problem is the football players are so isolated and they're
Yeah.
viewed.
Yeah,
Like,
all
can't
his
get
classes
to
were
them.
Let's be
online,
real.
so that helped
Let's
him.
be
He was just
real
all
for a
football.
second. Like, let's be real for a second. Football players are held like up here at every university. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter what it is. They could suck, but they're going to be held up here. Then you've got your basketball and your baseball or whatever it may be.
But
Gymnastics
LSU
falls
baseball
like
is
down
above
here.
basketball.
Like,
Yeah, this is probably a
that's-
new problem. You know,
that's the
something
thing.
yeah,
they're
they're
not
not
used to
used to
regularly.
this.
Yeah.
It's like people going crazy on campus for seeing like a college golfer. Like
Yeah,
Never.
nobody even knows who's on the
The,
golf team.
like
the
Scotty
state
Scheffler
troopers
is
are going to
walking on
quit
campus,
escorting
like, who
Brian
cares?
Kelly. They're
Yeah,
gonna
the
go
state
get him.
troopers are going to have to escort the gymnastics team.
Yeah.
I mean, but hey, it works out for the girls because, like I said, her brand is just building with all these people being totally obsessed with her. So if we can get some people obsessed with us, I'll sell my bathwater. Put it out there right now.
Yeah, no,
I'll
thanks.
do it. I mean, if somebody wants to buy it, boom, take us to the moon. We'll see what happens. I don't know if we'll keep this part of the show. We
Yikes.
might.
Just give
If
them
you
like
made
a,
it this far,
just give
thanks
them a
for
signed
listening.
jar of mayo since you're so obsessed with mayo nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Any updates on Mayo Gate, Wade?
No responses.
We'll keep working on them.
Fingers crossed
That-
again.
But yeah, that's all I've got. I like to end up with a weird TMZ segment, and that was
That was
definitely one of
weird.
our weirdest ones.
It's
that
an
we've had.
Easter egg if you make it to the hour 30 mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're still listening, we appreciate your support. Drop us a subscription on the YouTubes. You can find us. We'll have to update this here because I know the SEC Talk guys are taking a little break in the offseason. But Sports Scramble, Sunday nights when we record. Sometimes we go live, sometimes we don't. This week, we're just going to upload a video and the audio. And college football coast to coast, Monday afternoons. You can catch them. But if you're ever watching on YouTube, please leave us a hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. And give us a like, comment what you liked. Comment a TMZ segment of the week that you want to hear next time. If you got something crazy, send it to me. I'll read it on the show. And if you're over there on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. Tell us how much you love the show or how much you hate it, and then we'll talk about you. But
Don't
please
comment
tell
if you hate.
yeah, don't comment
If you hate it, then just get out.
yeah, just if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. That's what Cameron over there. Shout out to Money AZ on Twitch. He threw up his first YouTube short. I've been telling him you got to hit the shorts. First one over
Pop
1,000
off.
views. But he had some hater in there. Wow,
Yeah.
look at this guy playing Pokemon. Like, dude, he likes playing Pokemon. You're the dude commenting on some other dude's video hating on
You're
him.
the guy watching another guy play
Yeah,
Pokemon.
I would have.
Yeah,
I
that's
would have
Really, if you
commented
cared
back.
about it so much, you commented. That's what I hate
Yeah.
about people. People like, hey, I don't care, give a damn about it. Then why the hell do you comment?
Exactly. Just leave him alone. Let him do his own
See,
thing.
if
But
Cameron was smart, he would have commented and clapped back at him and said,
he did.
"Wow, look at this! Look at this guy who watches this guy play Pokemon and
Right.
hates himself."
He did clap back at him, and it was a respectful clap back, and the
Yeah.
dude shut up after that. But y'all
No
boys
respect.
got anything else?
I do
No,
not.
now
Got
that
an
college
appointment with
football
the
is over.
Bengals.
Yeah, second quarter 9-7.
Yeah,
And
the
the rest of the
Ravens
score
just
there.
scored a little out route touchdown to
Oy.
J.K. Dobbins. So hopefully, when we put this out there, it's a Bengals win, and we're previewing next week's playoffs.
Yeah,
True.
hopefully so. So, well, we appreciate everybody listening tonight, and we hope you'll have a good week. See ya.